parents and colleagues, would you please be upstanding for the graduating class of 2020? Please be seated. Thank you. I am honoured and delighted to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2020. To state the obvious, this has been an extraordinary year. Every graduating class is unique, but to be the only IB class ever to graduate without taking an exam is one extraordinary moment in me. In this extraordinary year, we're reminded of the public health emergency everywhere we look. So today, let's look somewhere else. Let's look at the other defining moment of this year, the Black Lives Matter movement, and the role we have to play, all of us, students and parents, in making lasting and meaningful change in our society. I would like to begin by asking us to look around the room and to notice with whom we are sharing this moment. We are almost exclusively a white school, and we are certainly privileged. And the phrase white privilege, however uncomfortable that might make some feel, is the one that we should explore and reflect on today. In the wake of the killing of George Floyd and the subsequent protests, I shared a suggested reading list with the community. I have been reading from that list, 4 books down, and a long list to still get through. And I would like to share an extract from one of those readings, a wonderful book by a British black writer, Rennie Lodge, called Why I'm No Longer Speaking to White People About Race. She provides a powerful and unambiguous definition of white privilege. And she writes, "How can I define white privilege? It's so difficult to describe an absence. And white privilege is an absence of the negative consequences of racism, an absence of structural discrimination, an absence of your race being viewed as a problem first and foremost, an absence of less likely to succeed because of my race. It is an absence of funny looks directed at you because you're believed to be in the wrong place, an absence of cultural expectations, an absence of violence enacted on your ancestors because of the colour of their skin, an absence of a lifetime of subtle marginalisation and othering, exclusion from the narrative of being human. describing and defining this absence means to some extent reminding white people that their experience is not the norm for the rest of us. To some, the word privilege in the context of whiteness invokes images of a life lived in the lap of luxury, enjoying the spoils of the super rich. When I talk about white privilege, I don't mean that white people have it easy, that they've never struggled, or that they've never lived in poverty. But white privilege is the fact that if you're white, your race will almost certainly positively impact upon your life's trajectory in some way, and you probably won't even notice it. Edo Lodge is asking me and you to acknowledge this absence of the negative in our lives. Instead, we, our community, we simply have. And we take so much of this for granted that we fail to recognise how privileged we are. She goes on to illustrate the ease with which we can all forget about privilege and how it excludes with a simple example from her own experience. She says, "We could all do with examining how the system unfairly benefits us personally. A few years back, confronted with a 4-hour round trip of a commute, I found that the only way to keep costs down and still make it work was to get the train halfway and cycle for the rest of the journey. An uncomfortable truth dawned on me as I lugged my bike up and down flights of stairs in commuter town train stations. The majority of public transport I'd been travelling on was not easily accessible. No ramps, no lifts, nigh on impossible to access for parents with buggies, or people using wheelchairs, or people with mobility issues, like a frame or a cane. Before I'd had my own wheels to carry, I never noticed this problem. I'd been oblivious to the fact that this lack of accessibility was affecting hundreds of people. It was only when the issue became close to me that I began to be infuriated by it." We as a community not only have a responsibility to notice, but also a responsibility to recognise that our privilege provides us with the means and the power to make a difference. I hope this does not sound like a righteous lecture, because it is not meant to be. We're here to celebrate our graduates, every one of them worthy, decent, honest, dedicated and extraordinary young people. So as I congratulate you today, I would like to ask you to recognise the privileges you have and ask how you can use these to make a positive difference in our world. How do you do that? Well, Barack Obama cautioned us that it is not activism to be as judgmental as possible about other people. That's not bringing about change. My challenge to you as you go out into the world is to be principled and compassionate, to demand change and have empathy, to notice both what is absent for others and what is present for you, and what that means. You are all wonderful young people, bright and determined, and I have every confidence that you will be the change that you want to be. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, the Chair of the Board of Trustees, and one of our 4 original founders of the school, Halcyon London, who is also I would like to thank Halcyon and the board for their support. Without their dedication and vision, we would not be here. When we opened in 2013, like all our founders, Halcyon was very much front of house. Now, as our school has grown and the board occupies a strategic role, he's working just as hard, but very much backstage. That work is less visible, just as vital. Please welcome Halcyon.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Dear class of 2020, dear parents, dear educators, and all of you who can't be here in person today, joining us online. Welcome, and first and foremost, it is wonderful to be here and able to celebrate this day with you all, albeit under strange circumstances. None of us anticipated the year would go like this. For better or worse, you have been spared the exams. but you have all been tested in a multitude of ways. In a world which seems to be upside down with the pandemic, Brexit, social justice issues, and nations more divided than at any point in your life. And you had to endure one of the hardest tests a teenager can come across, being in lockdown with your parents. Your graduation marks a milestone at any time. The class of 2020 will forever go down in history. Millions of students around the world had their education impacted by the pandemic. For the first time, the education system was turned off. But thanks to our Halcyon educators, we were able to turn it on again. Thank you for your amazing efforts, and thank you, parents, for your support during the remote learning experience. In time, parts of life will go back to normal, while others will be forever changed. This prospect is no doubt challenging, but as I see you all before me here today, knowing the kind of people you are, the parents you have, the education and teachers you had, I'm not filled with doubt. No, I'm filled with hope. Hope because we need young people like you, already experienced in managing change, open to the potential of modern technology on an unprecedented scale, going after your goals, helping to create a better future. We need you to make the world a better place. Don't let anyone tell you that you are too young or one person alone can't change anything. Or my favorite, this is how it's always, sorry, it's my favorite, but I can't say it. This is how it's always been done. Let's not forget, 2 years ago, a young Swedish student showed everyone that one person can make a difference and change the course and the thinking of the world. But it is more often the small steps which achieve real change. You worked hard to become what you are now, and the work is not finished, never should be. But you are independent thinkers, set to be lifelong learners, taking responsibility and care for each other. This is a key moment in history, and with an open mind and your education, I urge you, I beg you to do something special. Why? Because I know you have the potential in many different areas and you can make a difference. Wherever you go, to university, taking a gap year, or else, enjoy it. Please, students and parents, stay connected with us. We thrive on the joy to see our students find their way. Dear class of 2020, you already overcame many challenges. We will never forget you. You're one of a kind. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to our honored guests and those who are viewing online. My name is Manuel Salia-Arenas and I'm the Student Council President. It's tradition around here, every graduation, that the Student Council President co-MCs the graduation. And I take it as a great personal pleasure of mine to be able to MC this graduating class's graduation. So to begin with, we will now have Melina, who will sing Young and Beautiful by Lana Del Rey. Thank you, Melina, for the wonderful performance. We will now be hearing a few messages from some of the graduates. We will begin off by Isabel.
Welcome all. There are so many ways I imagined graduating from high school, but getting away with doing no final exams and having an early indoor summer was definitely not what I imagined. Halcyon International School has grown into more than just a regular school. It has become a place full of individually unique people which come together to form a safe space for education. My 3 years at Halcyon, although sometimes challenging, helped me to shape me into the woman I am today. As I ponder my time here in Halcyon, I realise how grateful I am to be surrounded by such a diverse community. Anyone can feel welcome here at Halcyon, and I'm sure any Halcyonite would agree with me. I'm especially thankful for this grade. Together we managed to finish the diploma programme and meanwhile make some extraordinary memories together. Each of us have our own story and each of us have our own story and our own perspective of the world, whether that's regarding politics, music, fashion, or even how to complete a group project. But with these differences, we come together to try and be the best versions of ourselves. As happy as I am today to have finished this milestone, I have always disliked endings. The last day of summer, the final chapter of a great book, parting ways with a close friend, but endings are inevitable. Leaves fall, you close the book and you say goodbye. Today is one of those days for us. Today we say goodbye to everything that was familiar, everything that was comfortable. We are moving on, but just because we're leaving doesn't mean our journey is now over. The bonds we've made during our time at Halcyon are sure to last a lifetime, and I can't wait to see where life takes all of us. Personally, each individual graduating from Halcyon today has taught me something very valuable, which I will take forth in my life. Mila and Isana, you showed me what great friendship is. You guys are always joined at the hip. Rosario always had a joke to crack, proving that laughter really is the best medicine. Nikita and Alba, along with others, worked every day to spread awareness about Black History Month, emphasizing the importance of equality and using our platforms for change. That was very special. Alex and Vibe were always conversing in Dutch, reminding me of the true bond people can have through language and culture. Noah, Akira and Parker spent their free time playing Dungeons and Dragons, reminding me that it's okay to reminisce on my childhood, and I'm still waiting for my invite so they can teach me how to become Dungeon Master. Hearing Melina, Iris, Elizabeth, Andrea and Martina singing ABBA during TOK proved to me how crucial collaboration is to master the performance of a band. Isaac's artistic talent, specifically his success with the Calendar Girls, showed me how relevant self-expression is in the arts and how beautiful self-expression really is. Finley's extraordinary passion for academics taught me the importance of acquiring knowledge. Emma's gracious and unique talent at playing the harp demonstrated the positive impact of classical music. Ines taught me how vital it is to stand out and be independent from the crowd. Allegra's honest and genuine guidance to any problem I had showed me the positive impact reaching out for advice has. Marie's commitment to running and Clara's dedication to ballet remind me the importance of taking care of the body and the lesson of perseverance and commitment. Sabrina's dedication to conflict resolution taught me the sensitive skills of negotiation and de-escalation, something that I'm sure will come in handy often during university debates. Sav and Sasha's constant questioning of maths and the sciences reminded me that although numbers are scary, they can also be exciting and sometimes interesting. Omar, David and Daniel taught me the true meaning of brotherhood, loyalty and ohana, that family never gets left behind. Each and every one of us had an impact on each other's lives and our story at Halcyon. It's been an honour to have done this journey with all of you, and for all of that I will always be thankful. The most important thing I will take from the International Baccalaureate is that the IB learner profile is much more practical than you may think. Its core values and criteria that will get you far in life. Take risks, be open-minded, be an inquirer, communicate your thoughts. Most importantly, always be reflective. Thanks to Ms. Cooper, we have been taught the importance of reflection, specifically through mindfulness. At the end of the day, we are privileged to be in this position, and now is the time to reflect and be present. Our first major milestone was accomplished, but life doesn't end at graduation. This really is just the beginning to a future full of long-lasting relationships, new successes, and most importantly, personal growth and happiness. Up until this point, our life has been pretty easygoing. The goal was just to finish school. But now is the time to go out into the world and find your meaning. To quote a much overused phrase, the world is your oyster. Don't be afraid to dive into the deep end. Thank you to everyone who made today possible, and thank you to each member of the staff at the school for helping us get to this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. We will now be hearing some words from Sabrina.
It's the 3rd of July, 2020. The strangest part of all of this is that March felt like yesterday, when our classrooms were transported to our homes, IB exams were canceled, and we had no way of predicting the uncertain future. We still don't know, for sure. It's 4 months later now. And I can't be there in person today because of this virus and the risk that it poses to my family. It's impossible to tell how our lives will change as a result of this pandemic, but instead of looking into the future today, I'd like to remember the past and my experiences at Halcyon. The first memory I have at Halcyon was grade 6, starting the term in November and walking into a math class taught by Mr. Jones. I'm sure Noah and Andrea would also remember this math class, which wasn't an ordinary math class. I remember posters written with numbers in different languages, Mandarin, Greek, Arabic. It was like my dream math class, combining an understanding of world languages with maths, which was a subject that didn't quite get my eyes to light up beforehand. In English, with Mr. McGowan, I was writing essays about books which had been written in other languages, translated to English, from Ismail's Oranges about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict to In a Country of Men about Libya under Gaddafi, or even, finally, Women at Point Zero about women in Egypt. They all definitely had a common theme, the Middle East. As Isaac might say, a Sabrina obsession. But I think we each had our own obsessions, like China under Mao, Isaac, to songwriting, Melina, architecture, Emma, Noah, encyclopedia of film directors, David, a rare mix of arts and maths, Sav, law and politics, Daniel, and crazy psychology cases, Vibe, among many others. The fact that as students, we were able to choose individual books, projects, and presentations that we were interested in across the subjects contributed to the enjoyment of learning. Even in the intense IB diploma program, Halcyon and its teachers have found ways to engage students. Miss Cook's debates and Socratic seminars contrasting Allende and Pinochet in Chile, or the indigenous First Nation tribes and their social justice movements in Canada, were among my all-time favorite highlights, even though sometimes as a class we were overwhelmed with the insane amount of higher-level history content. I remember Miss Cooper requesting Martina to walk around the room, demonstrating the difference between distance, velocity, and acceleration. At the time, it was a bit of a laugh, but I think we all enjoyed it, and it got us engaged in the subject. And Ms. Rosado's assigned presentations on different Hispanic cultures, which at one point had me venturing to a Peruvian restaurant in Covent Garden to interview the chef in Spanish. And then Mr. Simpson's extra history of Croydon while on our trip to collect data about Croydon's classification as an edge city. And also all those stories almost always related to geography about his experience in India, which lightened up classes. I'd like to say a thank you to all these teachers I've mentioned and all the others who strive to make learning engaging and enjoyable. And also thank you for giving me a reason to wake up in the morning and head to school looking forward to your classes. In terms of Halcyon traditions, each year since 7th grade, I've worked alongside groups of students to set up the Halcyon Halloween Catwalk to raise money for Chris Cancer Foundation. I love this tradition, which brings so much laughter to the school, and I hope it continues in the hands of my sister, Mia, and beyond that. Another of my favorite annual events at Halcyon is the Halcyon Model United Nations Conference, which is a student-run project. I was so proud of the work my team of board of directors, many of them in my class, that we worked on to accomplish a huge conference, bringing in the UNHCR and a massive tent from them. And we set it up in the Stern Hall where you're sitting, as well as a Syrian refugee who came in to speak about his survival story. I wanted to thank Halcyon for providing these amazing opportunities to develop leadership and perseverance, which wouldn't have been possible in any other school. For me, these Halcyon traditions, alongside the creative ways of teaching, will make Halcyon so memorable. I look forward to continue to learn, hopefully at UCL, with a dual degree in politics and international relations in the fall. Bye, everyone.
Congratulations, grade 12. It's astonishing that I've known some of you for 5 years. Where has the time gone? All the best with what comes next after Halcyon. And as I often say, make sure for some period of your life you live in an unusual part of the world and enjoy understanding it.
Hello, grade 12. I wish you all the best for your future.
Hi grade 12, congratulations on finishing your diploma. It's been really lovely spending this 1 year teaching you, and I wish you all the best for a very exciting and fulfilled and happy life ahead.
Congratulations grade 12 on your graduation. You've all worked so hard, you deserve this. And to wish you a wonderful summer holiday, a well-deserved rest, and to wish you all the best of luck and great success for next year. But this is also a special message to the grade 12 art students. What a sensational art show you created this year. We will never forget it. And we're going to miss you all terribly in the art room. It's been wonderful watching your creativity develop over the last 2 years, and all the younger students have loved looking at all your beautiful work. So keep making and creating, and best wishes to all of you. Goodbye.
Congratulations, grade 12. Congratulations for completing diploma and on your graduation from high school. It's been an incredible opportunity to see some of you grow since I joined Halcyon, and some of you were in grade 8, and to have met some of you who have joined since then. I wish each and every one of you the best of luck. You're going to be missed terribly here at Halcyon. You're an incredible group of young individuals, and I know that each and every one of you are going to contribute in some amazing accomplishments in the future. And so I'm really excited to see where your paths and your journeys take you. And I wish you all the very, very best. Please come back and visit us. Keep in touch and let us know how you get on. So take care.
Hi grade 12, congratulations on everything you've accomplished. I am in the council room, the scene of many of our classes, and times when I know I've spent a lot of time sort of nagging you and pulling you aside and trying to get you to do stuff, but I am so pleased with everything you've accomplished, and it's been such a pleasure getting to know you this year. So good luck with everything in your futures, and I know everything's going to be amazing. So well done, class of 2020. You have overcome more than most.
Hi grade 12, I just want to say goodbye and good luck. It's been a pleasure to teach you in history or to supervise you for CAS. I wish you all the very best for university or your gap year and beyond.
I hope no one sees me without my mask on, but I've got a really important message to deliver to the grade 12 visual arts students. You rocked. You absolutely nailed it. You were fantastic at your exhibition, and I really enjoyed working with you. You're going to go on to do amazing things. Stay safe, stay true to yourself, and I look forward to reading and hearing all about you. Take care. Bye, guys.
Okay, I think we have to do some kind of video for grade 12 graduation.
Every year we think something.
They're not gone yet.
No, apparently not. They're coming back.
So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Ideas?
Well, we've got to give them a wave, a farewell. I know. Why don't we give them a sine wave?
Yeah. Go for it.
You know. Oh, come on. We've spent all our time doing calculus and all these wonderful waves. I'll get it on my screen. It'll be really groovy. Come on. You got a better idea, maybe? I don't know. Play with it.
I can see what that would look like. You know what I think I would do? I would do something a bit more sophisticated. How about we make an arc sine wave? inverse sine wave, you know, like limited domain, a bit more almost philosophical at times, you know, something like that.
Ah, the TOK teacher.
Well, what about my students?
What would you do
What
for
are
that?
my students going to do?
They've got to do waves.
We don't do sine waves. We could do beach waves. That'd be pretty cool, right? Surfing.
Correlation.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a bit complicated, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We've got to meet all the needs of all the students, right?
Right.
No, it's not just your high level ones.
Yeah. What if we just
Yeah, let's just.
just give it away there?
Let's just go. Bye.
Bye.
Best
All
of
the
luck.
best. Good luck.
Take care. Congratulations.
Just another normal day in grade 12. Oh, here's a late grade 12 student turning up to school. Let's see how they get on.
Because my helicopter ran out of fuel.
Oh, another one of those excuses. Can you just sign the register, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please leave your bike.
Alright.
Okay. See? Leave the bike.
Go away! You're so boring.
Oh my god, did you guys watch last night on Netflix? Oh. Okay, no. What was it playing on? I'm like this.
Cooper's coming! Cooper's coming!
So what's going on in here?
We're studying, we're working.
Except the essay.
Yeah.
I've got patience.
Get up. Should be sitting on a seat.
This is African folklore.
What's going on here?
That was him.
No, it wasn't me. It was that one. Oh my god, I was watching this.
You know what? We're trying to work.
I will remember how you kissed me under the lamppost back on 6th Street, hearing you whisper through the phone, wait for me to come home.
Thank you to all the teachers for those incredibly kind words. We will now be hearing from one of the original students of this generation, Noah Mellon. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're enjoying our 2020 graduation thus far, and thank you for choosing me to represent our class during this important celebration. Why they would choose a dyslexic procrastinator to give this speech when there are so many talented people among us is beyond me, but I'll try not to mess it up. I'm going to start off by saying how grateful I am that our class was able to have an in-person graduation. This transition to college is an important milestone in all of our lives, and we're lucky enough to be experiencing it here in the Stone Hall together in spite of the pandemic we're going through. I know it's not the British Library, but thank you to the Halcyon staff members, especially Mr. Mansfield, Joanne Cooper and Katie Wrench, who have made this event possible. During this speech, I'm going to try and avoid saying something cliche like we're about to enter the real world or this is the start of our adult lives. Whilst this day is an important celebration, I do not think it signals the beginning of our adult lives, nor is it an introduction to the real world. I say this because I know that every member of our class has already been tackling and undertaking adult issues, be it searching for accommodation, learning to adapt to our new lives in lockdown, or speaking up against injustice in these times when it is so prevalent. We as a class and as individuals are far more mature than we give ourselves credit. And I believe that every one of us is experienced and sophisticated enough to tackle our futures outside of Halcyon, thanks to the wide-ranging education the IB offered us. This does not mean that we've always been these well-rounded, developed young adults. Quite the contrary. Over the past 6 years, we have changed from annoying, immature, and unfocused sixth graders, no offense to any younger viewers on the live stream, into young adults who are inquisitive, interested, and sophisticated. When I joined the school in 6th grade, on the first day that Halcyon opened its doors, I was met by a class of no more than 7 students. This original group of familiar faces gradually morphed and grew into the 28 bright adults I see sat in front of me. Not that the rest of you parents aren't bright adults. I've watched our class dynamic fluctuate over the years and experienced us all increase in maturity and independence, going from writing 200 sloppily ill-conceived words to fully polished extended essays. We as students have developed into not only risk-takers, carers, and thinkers, as the IB wants us to be, but also into well-rounded, inquisitive humans ready for the challenges of the next stages of our lives. All this progress and change, however, would not have been possible without the help of our patient and inspiring teachers who supported us through the challenges of the IB. I'd like to thank Mr. McGowan for putting up with our painful reenactments of A Streetcar Named Desire, Miss Jenkins for supporting our last-minute biology studying, Miss Reese for inspiring us in our creative endeavours and for putting up with Isaac's refusal to clean up after himself, and not forgetting the catering staff, tech team, teachers and board of directors who have made Halcyon such an enjoyable place to be schooled. Every one of you has made an impact on the graduates that sit in front of you today. Thank you. I believe it is important to cherish the time we shared here at Halcyon and to keep the friendships we forged. Being students at an international school, we understand that people fade in and out of our lives. Students at Halcyon come and go, and whilst most people see this as a negative, I think we should take this as an opportunity to stay in contact and share connections across the globe. We have students going to America, Japan, Spain, Holland, the list goes on. And I believe this is a sign of our class's cultural diversity, and as we as Halcyon students spread across the globe, we can only hope that with us we bring tolerance, understanding and diversity. To conclude, I'd like to congratulate every one of my classmates on completing the IB. There were many points where I thought I wasn't going to make it, but here we are. The level of work every one of us has completed and submitted during our time at Halcyon is something to be commended. And I only hope that we all continue to work effectively and diligently through lockdown to keep ourselves on track for uni and to make Halcyon proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. It is my great pleasure to introduce our honorary guest speaker, Cyril Vanier. He is a news anchor for CNN International based in London, and his journey is a great example of how we can follow our unique passions and create our own impact in the world. At the very beginning of his career, he took a very demanding role, being an international reporter and working in the midst of the most impactful events on the planet, from shaking Obama's hands the night he was elected, to covering the Arab Spring on the very onset of reporting live with the withdrawal of the US troops in Afghanistan. I will hand it over to Cyril to say a few words to our graduating class.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your day. Sorry for the lag. There's a bit of a lag between the YouTube channel and us here sitting at home. My name is Cyril Vanier. I've been a broadcaster with CNN for a number of years and a broadcaster period for about 15 years. And it is a pleasure to be speaking to such a talented group of students. And it is an honor to be with you. Thank you for letting me be a part of this day. I want to level with you about something. I've been on air a lot, been in front of a camera a lot, but I have never done a graduation speech. So I asked for a couple of tips about this particular form of public speaking. And the one tip that came back all the time was read the room. When you go in there, it doesn't matter the specific words you choose, just read the room. So as I peer into my laptop, that suddenly feels very 2019. But it also occurred to me that given the extraordinary circumstances of your graduation, your 2020 graduation, I think it will remain memorable, whatever I say today. And I could unmute myself. I could mute myself for the next 10 minutes. I could lip sync for the next 10 minutes. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing that has happened to you during this year. So I think the pressure's off for me. But as I understand it, the pressure is not off for you, because we are just a few days away from you guys getting your grades, your end of year grades, which are also, of course, your end of school grades. And at this juncture in your lives, they are, I think, by most measures, the single most important thing you will have done, certainly in the academic realm. And so good luck this weekend. Be patient. But look, before we find out your grades, we don't know what they are yet. But I do think speaking to a number of you at some length these last few days and speaking to members of your school, I feel we know what matters more and what will end up being more important throughout your life. I feel we know already the content of your character. And I'd like to take you back to March, when all of a sudden your world was turned on its head and everything changed. And from one minute to the other, the pandemic wasn't just something that was very local and then regional. It was something that had hit you at the most important juncture of your academic career. You should not have been in quasi-solitary confinement for weeks and then months at this juncture. You should not have had to rename your class WhatsApp group Coronavirus After 11 p.m. You should not have been cut off from part of your emotional support base, your friends, boyfriends, girlfriends. Those things matter to everybody all the time, especially you guys at this time. And you should not have had to be weighing the health benefits and risks of attending your own graduation in person. None of that was in your curriculum. None of that was planned by your school or anyone else. But life happens, and this happened, and here we are. And you have had to do all those things. So I thought back, I searched my memory for any event in my life, academic or professional, that would at all resemble what you've been through. And of course, I didn't find any. There is nothing comparable to what we've all been through these last few months. But in terms of having your wings clipped and facing an unprecedented challenge at the very time when you know you have to prove yourself, it did make me think of my early days as a reporter. Before working for CNN, I worked for a French network, and I had earned some stripes, and I had started to prove myself enough to become a reporter working on international stories. I had previously worked on only local stories, so this was a big jump up. And in early 2008, I was sent to do two big stories. One was the Democratic US primaries in the presidential election that year, and it pitted a relative unknown at the time, a young senator from Illinois, his name was Barack Obama, against an establishment figure, Hillary Clinton. So I went out, I followed all of that, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, you name it. And by all accounts, I did fairly well. You know, I had learned my lesson, I had worked very hard, I had covered every possible angle I could think of, and I got a good grade, so to speak. The same month, early 2008, I was sent to cover the unfolding political situation in Kenya, where after a hotly contested presidential election, nobody wanted to concede defeat, and the situation became more and more tense. And when my team and I landed there in Nairobi, everything went off the rails. And nothing was as I had expected it to be. I had had an appetite for conflict reporting, so I was interested in being there and covering that kind of story. But there is nothing that prepares you for those moments, much like there was nothing that prepared you guys for what you went through the last few months. So when we landed in Nairobi, as I said, everything went off the rails, and the situation devolved into a bitter, brutal, and deadly civil war with levels of violence I had never witnessed, with levels of acrimony, bitterness that I had never imagined, and a country being torn apart at the seams. I was a very young reporter. I thought this was my big moment, and we had lots of lives to do and reports to file. And the first, I don't know how many, frankly, were bad. I didn't know how to put it in context. I didn't know how to choose the right words. I just wasn't good enough for the situation. The situation was bigger than me. That's another way to put it. And I was deeply worried about what it would mean for the rest of my reporting career, because those are moments when, again, you need to prove yourself. And there is no amount of preparation that can tell you or your bosses how you will fare in those situations. Well, long story short, over a period of time, I got better, or I should say slightly less worse. And over time, the lives got better. The words were chosen more carefully. The context that was given was wiser and more interesting. And I came back. So this is not a Hollywood movie. So I didn't win a Pulitzer at the end of it. I did not break great news. I did not unearth any new political secrets in Kenya. But I survived. I survived. And I proved myself. And when I came back, I had cemented my place in our group of reporters, and I had earned enough trust that I would then go on to do other international stories of impact. So why do I bother mentioning all of this? Barack Obama, the civil war in Kenya, what's it got to do with any of you? What's it got to do with this present moment? Well, the lesson that I learned at the time was that the greater the challenge, the greater the achievement. And so I get back to the fact that we don't know your grades yet, but we already know, I think in large part, what you have achieved. I know some of you may be thinking, hey, why are we making such a big deal of this? We continued our work from class. We had been preparing to some extent for not for this, but for a lot of hard work in the final stretch of this year. And we got to go to class in our pajamas. It's not all that bad. Well, if you're thinking that, that is a testament to your resolve, and that is a testament to your strength. Half the world was freaking out. I would argue that global leadership was lacking. It was a time when walking out the front door felt like you were walking on the moon. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know exactly how dangerous it was. But it is a fact that the deaths were counted in the tens of thousands, and by now the hundreds of thousands. And this was all happening at the precise moment when all of you had to be ramping up your efforts to achieve what was already an impressive list of academic achievements. I mean, think about it. If an international, worldwide, cruel lab experiment were concocted to test you, to throw you off your game, to derail your work routine, to make you question yourselves, your abilities, and the future that awaits you, it would be this. The experiment would look exactly like what you went through. So I spent some time on the phone with a number of you recently, and my question was, what is the personality of this group? And one answer that came back was peculiar. That's the name of the song that Melina wrote a couple of years ago about your class. I know some of the faces have changed. It's not all the same people, but I am told that that is still an apt description of your group. A lot of individualities, a lot of singular talents. We have artists, we have athletes, we have, well, after hearing how you guys fared throughout this pandemic and throughout this last year, I would offer a number of other descriptions for this group. I would say mature, I would say resilient, and I would say strong. I know you weren't able to sit your end of year exams, and it caught all of you at different moments of your academia. For some of you, I suppose, basing your end of year grade on homework was maybe favorable to you. For some of you, it was unfavorable. The rule book was thrown out the window, and you had to adapt, and you had only a few weeks to do it, and you did it admirably. Not only did you hand in, from what I'm told, a lot of work and a lot of good quality work, but you kept it together when so many people were not. And you did so while remaining humble, kind, supportive for your family and your community. You have done admirably. And while we don't know your grades, we already know that you have overcome and that you have achieved. So what I want to tell you today is that you got to carry that within you as you go forward. You will meet other challenges. We don't know what September will be made of. I know that you're eagerly awaiting those grades to find out what you're going to be studying, where you're going to be living for some of you, the choice of university, whether you'll be studying at all. I know a number of you have elected to do gap years possibly, and I do hope those are fruitful. So we don't yet know what September will be made of. We don't know what next year will be made of. Hell, we don't know what the next decade will be made of. But we already know what you guys are made of. And you have been drawing on all the qualities that the IB has been trying to instill in you. So when I take a look at the list, you are all supposed to be knowledgeable. You're all supposed to be thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, and caring. Well, again, those of you that I have spoken to have all that and more. You have all that in buckets, and you need to be proud of yourselves. I mean, in the room, as I understand it, we already have, so let me think, we already have artists, we have athletes, we have scientists, we have psychologists / philosophers, we have a singer-songwriter in the making. Oh, and it doesn't even stop at what you did during the confinement for your academic year. After the academic year ended, I understand many of you didn't know what to do with your talents, so you decided to take it a step further or 10 steps further. Just reading off the list I wrote, speaking to some of you started learning another language. Some of you started cadet training. Some of you started reading new authors. Some of you started teaching yourself new skills. I mean, frankly, who does that? The rest of the world was just watching Netflix. So I come back to this central point that you need to take stock. You're all 18 or 19, and you have been preparing for this moment essentially since you learned how to breathe. As you await those final grades, I will say it one last time, take stock of what you have achieved, of what you have become. And it is your hard work, it is your perseverance, it is your curiosity that has brought you here and allowed you in the last few months to overcome the biggest challenge you've had to face in your academic career. So with all that said, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your day. I have been truly impressed by this group of students, and I look forward to reading about your accomplishments in the newspapers in the decades to come. I hope you all have a great day.
I'd like to thank Cyril for being patient with us as we cancelled, postponed, moved venues, moved the goalposts. He's been wonderful. It's fabulous of him to honour us with his words today. So we come to the business part of the graduation presentation of diplomas. So before we do that, before I introduce the graduating class, I'd just like to ask each of our graduates to take a moment and consider all of those who've made their journey possible. Who would you like to thank? Your teachers who will have guided, inspired and encouraged you. Your parents who will have made many unseen sacrifices to ensure that you've had the very best opportunity to succeed. Your friends are here or joining us online, those who may have offered you advice and support when it was most needed. And there is Halcyon and all the non-teaching staff who provided services and expertise to allow everyone to flourish. beyond this room, our family members and friends watching online. And to those graduates who cannot be here today, we are thinking of you. And I very much include you in my thanks to the graduating class for all you have given to our school. Graduates, when you leave here today, hold on to this thought, this gratitude, and share it with those who matter. One person I would like to thank is Jo Cooper, our diploma coordinator. Today is special for her too. This is her final graduation ceremony, at least with us, before she leaves for home in Australia. Jo has been a dedicated and consistent support for every member of the graduating class and for all of our teachers, and this particular day would not be possible without her commitment and her integrity. She's been central to our students' success, so it's more than appropriate that she has the honour of introducing the graduating class of 2020.
So I have the mic and I hope you will bear with me as I share a few final words for our graduating class. And I've promised not to use any Australian analogies or any random stories that only Finn understands. 3 years ago we sat down with your parents and chose DP subjects. A third of your group were new in grade 11. Look at you now, you'd hardly know. You've been able to create community, bonding over your shared music loves, your subjects you were studying, various travel, places you've lived, and that infamous time in the hub. And here you are today, graduating. It's wonderful to have seen you grow. I know I address you as a group, but I see you as individuals and your different stories that we've walked. And I know you will go out and make a difference in our world. I've spent special time with my maths class, and another joke, sorry, you made a great normal curve, but you are unique and you made my life feel a little normal because I was actually in the classroom teaching, so thank you. Pamoja students, we negotiated online study together and discussed the merits of sitting at a table while we were studying rather than lying on the couch, but that's okay. I was told that it worked just as well. I followed your extended essays, your TOK titles, your CAS projects. It showed me the diverse individuals that you are and your willingness to take risks with that. And I've been intrigued by what you took up as your IAs in science and the languages and the humanities. I think exploring those big questions without those simple answers, it's led you into new knowledge and hopefully taught you to be comfortable with the ungoogleable. Questions and problems that our world needs. We need you to find solutions for the future generations for our sustainable Earth. I've loved the creativity of the visual arts class and the theatre productions. In the top words of Thomas Merton, art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. I never cease to be amazed at how you put together ideas and themes, overcoming that blank page, getting below the surface waters of life, which is where all the good stuff happens, being present in the now. And as I leave Halcyon behind, I invite you to reflect on the words of the 13th century Persian poet Rumi. As you start to walk on the way appears. Halcyon's been enriched by having you as part of our community, now our alumni students. You've received an education where you have learned to be principled, risk-takers and balanced. As senior students, you've led so many extracurricular activities. You took on that mindfulness course, and I hope that in this uncertain times you can stop and be. Breathe into the good and into the difficult in equal measure. Without the exam session, many of you took up the challenge that we posed to you and enrolled in courses, as Cyril noted, took on further learning, and I hope you now feel even more prepared for your uni courses ahead. I take on Ruby's words myself as I depart Halcyon with uncertainty ahead of me, but also knowledge, personal knowledge, last TOK reference for you, that being present in each moment, aiming to be our best self in all of our interactions, the way ahead will appear for me as I know it will for you. And so, I now call on the 2020 graduates of Halcyon to come forward and receive their high school diplomas. Marie Alaphilippe. Remotely joining us, we have Alba Braco Barrera. David Bredden. Savali Berchinsky. Remotely, we have joining us Sabrina Chari. Matilda Cronenberg. Finley Drafum-Duckman. Emma Fostier. Omar Ghassani. Elisabeth Gudmundsen. Joining us remotely, Inez Mendez. In absentia, Alexander Orrell. Daniel Perkaz. Isabel Roger. Joining us remotely, Martina Sanchetti. Akira Schroeder.
of our diplomas may be a little bit out of order, but you'll organise it. Graduates, please stand. May I present you the graduating class of 2020. Graduates, you may move your tassels to the left. Congratulations, you have graduated from Halcyon.
Class of 2020, congratulations with this big achievement and the best of luck for the rest of your life.
Very well done, we're very proud. Cheers.
Cheers.
Congratulations, class of 2020, you are amazing. Well done.
Congratulations on making it through one of the hardest parts of your life. I promise it gets better, but you have to keep working hard. Well done.
And remember, the world is your oyster, so go and grab it.
This is Allegra, and she made it. And she was just crying. She doesn't want me to mention it. Thank you. Say something. Hello.
Thank you for the lovely teachers who supported me and helped me throughout the way. It means a lot to me, so thank you.
Halcyon graduate class of 2020. I'm Amar's mom, so proud of you. And a really big thank you to you all for being supportive to Amar during his 2 years at Halcyon. It's been amazing. The friendships he's made and the things he's learned from all of you. I'm sure this is just the beginning, and I hope you'll stay in touch, and I wish you all the very best in the future. Good luck.
Okay, I'm totally defying Parker's wishes right now, but I'm rebellious like that. So I just want to say congratulations, class of 2020. I hope you guys stay in touch. I hope you make a plan to travel, to meet up with each other. I wish you all the best. I know you're going to do great things, and congrats. Bye.
Well, congratulations to the whole class 2020, a very, very peculiar class.
Amazing group, yeah.
So I wish you all the best, success in life, and, happiness.
Congratulations to the class for your graduation. Amazing moments, and have a fantastic life ahead of you. You're all champions.
Felicidades. Congratulations, well done.